The recording has started. Good evening, everybody. So this is another Thames Valley Berkshire broadcast with the LEP. We're Pathway CTM and we're helping hosting it. This evening's sessions is the Virtual Pathways to Your Future with Virgin Media. It's fantastic because Virgin Media are here to talk to you about opportunities in your area, which is great. Who am I? My name's Max. I'm hosting the session, like I said. So you'll hear from me at the beginning and at the end, and maybe in between. If you've got questions or anything that you put in the chat box, then I'll relay it to those representatives from Virgin Media. I'm an outreach manager for Pathway CTM. Like I said, Pathway CTM, we're helping host the event tonight. And my outreach job, it means I go into schools across the UK and I run career sessions to help students take control of their future careers. So we talk about university, we talk about apprenticeships, but also how to get there, how to write CVs, how to write cover letters, those kind of things. And then students can have access to our portal and any services that they want from me, whether it's checking CVs or help with preparation for interviews. With that, we run sessions like tonight, which are about jobs in your area, about possibilities in your area, and you get to meet those employers and ask them questions. So for tonight, how do we communicate? It's Zoom, there is a chat box, there is a Q&A box, and you can raise your hand. Not everybody is confident enough to raise their hand and turn on their microphone, and sometimes it doesn't always work, so that's the last option, but that's fine. There is a Q&A box. As we go through the session, don't wait till the end to ask your questions if it's relevant at the time. Put it in the Q&A box and we can ask it when it's the appropriate time to ask it. We will try and cover everything that gets asked, and we may not answer your question immediately, but we will get to it. We may ask you ad hoc questions as we go along. Put the answer in the chat box. You should be able to see it there, and we'll put other information in the chat box as well. So that's enough from me. Let's get tonight started, and I'm going to introduce you to Virgin Media, and the first person is Callie. Good evening, Callie. How are you?
Hi, Max. I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for the introduction. So hi, everyone. My name is Callie, as Max has said. I work on the Future Careers team here at Virgin Media, and I work as a recruitment specialist. So I work on our attraction, recruitment, and onboarding for all of our apprentices, graduates, and interns. And so that's for all of our programs. That's across the UK, the Netherlands, Poland, and Ireland. So a very big recruitment campaign that we run here. And I'm joined on the session today by a few of our current apprentices. So I've got Antiana, Charlotte, and Sophie that are here that are going to be speaking with you guys as well. So I'll quickly let each of them introduce themselves as well.
Oh dear. Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte. I'm one of Virgin Media's finance assistant apprentices, and I work in Bradford, in the Bradford office.
Hi guys, I'm Antiana. I started in September. I am a project manager apprentice and I'm based in Reading.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm also based in the Reading office, and same as Antiana, I do project management.
That's great. Thank you all. So I just thought it would be nice so everyone knows who we've got on the call, and you'll be hearing from each of us a bit throughout our presentation. So with that, we can go ahead and get started. Max, if you don't mind going to the next slide, please. So to start off with, it's good to just talk about who exactly are Virgin Media. So I'm imagining a lot of you, when you think Virgin Media straight away, you're probably thinking of Richard Branson, who of course did start the Virgin brand. You can see here just a bit of a timeline of our history. So Virgin Media has been around for a while, just not necessarily known by the Virgin brand that you know today. So you can see that we started back in the 1980s as Croydon Cable. And then we kind of progressed from there. So Virgin Media actually became a brand in 2007. And then we became part of the Liberty Global family a few years later in 2013. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of an overview of kind of where we've started and where we are now. If we go to the next slide, we'll just talk a little bit about now. So fast forward to today. And here we are, and we're really proud to say that we are the UK's first quad play provider. So this means that we provide telephone, broadband, television, and mobile services to our customers across the UK and Ireland. We are always in the process of growing all parts of our business. The point of this is so we can connect more customers to all of the things and the people they care about most. Obviously, during the current time, that's really important, making sure that people can be connected to anyone that they want to be speaking to, which is why our purpose here at Virgin Media is building connections that really matter. So we really care about making sure that people can be connected to all of those people and the things that they need to kind of get through their daily lives. If we can go on to the next slide. So at Virgin Media, we've got actually a really, really big future careers community. So although we're here talking about our apprentices, we do have a much wider future careers community than that. So this map kind of gives you a bit of an idea of just how widespread the community is. So we've got apprentice and intern roles here in the UK, but then we've got our graduate roles that are spread across the UK, Ireland, Netherlands, and Poland. So you can see just kind of from those numbers there that we've obviously got a lot of people on our program. So in the UK, we've got 452 grad interns and apprentices. So anyone that's kind of joining one of these programs becomes part of that really massive global community. So it provides a lot of opportunity for not just personal development, but as well for kind of social side of things and like that you're joining that community where you have all of those people that you're able to socialize and connect with. If we can go on to the next slide, what we'll do is look a little bit closer into our apprenticeship opportunities. So this slide here is just kind of highlighting the schemes that we currently have apprentices on. So you can see we've got quite a range. So on the top, we've got some schemes that are under our technology and engineering. So they're more technical focused roles, a lot of them based in the field. So you've got things like our field technicians, our network engineers, civil engineers, and quite a few other ones there. So I won't name all of them, but it's just to kind of give you an idea. And then on the other side, we've got our more business focused schemes. So you've got things like project management, accounts assistants, business admin, and quite a few others. So you can see we've got quite a big range of apprenticeship schemes. And each of these you can see as well that we range from level 2 all the way up to level 7. So we've got a big amount of opportunities here for our apprenticeship programs. But regardless of the scheme that you join or are interested in, it's always good to know that with any of our schemes, you would be getting a permanent contract with us. So all of our apprenticeships will, after you've completed the program, you do have a permanent role with the company. So it's not just the apprenticeship, it is a permanent job with us, which is really great. On the apprenticeship as well, you'll have the opportunity to learn job-specific skills. You'll be earning a competitive salary and, of course, gaining a nationally recognized qualification. So a lot on offer with all of those opportunities. Each year, the opportunities we have do change. So we don't necessarily offer all of these roles. It does change each year, but we always have quite a wide variety available. So it just kind of depends on what you're interested in doing, but you can always be checking up to see what apprenticeships are currently open. But now it's good to just kind of talk you through a little bit of our recruitment process. So if we can go on to the next slide.
Before we go to the next slide, Paddy, can I ask you a question? Because I can see up there, and just to relate it back to those that are on, you've got the levels underneath. I'm guessing that's the level that you can start at, but then the level that you can graduate at will be higher than, let's say, level 2 for a field technician. You come in at level 2 and then you work your way up. Is that right? So for example, data scientist, level 7, you'd have to come in at level 7.
Yeah, so with these, so that is the level of the apprenticeship. So that's the qualification level. So with a field technician, it's a level 2 qualification. So once you've completed that, you would have gained the actual qualification for the level 2 field technician. And that's kind of the same for any of those levels we have there. However, there is opportunities that if you completed your apprenticeship, you can always do another one. So that is quite common with quite a few different schemes, specifically field technicians. We often see them going on to do one of the network engineering schemes, so to get like a higher qualification. We've also had people that they've finished their apprenticeship and they're in their role, but they do what's called an upskill. So they'll continue to do their normal role, but they'll just be doing the apprenticeship, so the learning side, to get another qualification. So we've kind of got that really great system in place to be able to provide that support and give you the opportunity to progress and kind of develop yourself as well. Perfect.
So we're starting to build a really good picture of the fact that first of all, the split between grads and apprentices is really good, because it's kind of a half and half split. It's a lot better than a lot of other companies do. I did also want to pick up on the fact that you said that once people complete their apprenticeship, they have a job at Virgin Media. So did I understand that right? It's not a case of you do the apprenticeship and then it's a luck of the draw whether you stay on or not. You've completed the apprenticeship, you've got a job at Virgin Media. Was that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So you when we offer you the apprenticeship, it's whatever length the apprenticeship is, but then once you've completed that, you would just roll into a normal role. So typically, like with any of the roles, so if you were doing project management, like we've got a few of Antiana and Sophie on, when they complete their apprenticeship, they will land in the business in project management roles outside the apprenticeship. So it's a permanent job when you take the apprenticeship with us.
Perfect. Okay. We have got questions coming in, but we'll save them for a few slides later because there's some relevant ones and the information is coming up. So pay attention, people.
No, that's great. Thanks, Max. Thanks for those. So just now that we've touched on kind of some of the opportunities that we've got available, it's always good to take a look at how you apply and what our recruitment process is like if it is something that you're interested in. So with our recruitment process, it's all done online. And at the moment, we are doing the entire process. So that's including the Discovery Centres virtual, just with the current times. So we'll kind of walk through that whole process. So if you have a role that you're interested in, you'd be applying online through our online application. So you would go onto our website and click apply. You'd select the program that you're interested in. And then you just fill in all of your information. So you don't need to have a CV or a cover letter or anything like that. It is all done through the application form, which makes it really nice because I know those things aren't always easy to put together. So you don't have to worry about that. Once you've kind of done that, if you've met the minimum criteria, you'd then be invited to take part in what's called a situational judgment test. So it's an online test where you're asked a few different questions. I won't go into too much of that because we do have a little bit of a sneak peek in another slide or so's time where you'll be able to actually kind of see what that might look like. However, if you pass that stage, you'd go on to the next step, which is a telephone interview. So this is just a short telephone interview with someone from our recruitment team, where we just ask you a couple questions, just kind of make sure that you're the right fit for the role and we're the right fit for you. And then if you've progressed to that, the next stage is actually our Discovery Centre. But before that, once you've booked in, we want to make sure you're as prepared as you can be for the day. So you'll see there what's called a coaching call. So 1 to 2 days before the Discovery Centre, you'll get a call from someone from our recruitment team where we'll just kind of speak with you about the Discovery Centre, answer any questions you might have, and just kind of put you at ease for the day, just to make sure that you're as prepared as you can be for the Discovery Centre. And then, of course, you've got that Discovery Centre, which I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment as well, but it is done virtually. After the day, you'll be able to book in a feedback call. So regardless if you've received an offer or you haven't, you are able to book in a call with us where we can give you feedback on how you performed on the day, which is obviously really useful kind of for your development and improvement for the future. So it's a really great thing to do. So if you do attend one of our days, do make sure you book in that feedback call because it's really, really useful information that we can give to you. And you can see here, there's just a few of those bubbles just with some feedback that we've received from our most recent recruitment campaigns about how people felt that the different stages were. So we've got some great feedback about the application form, the situational judgment test, and the assessment centre or Discovery Centre itself. And then as well on this slide, just highlighting a few of the roles that we've got open at the moment. So we are due to go live with a lot more roles in the new year. So at the moment, the choices are quite limited. So we've got our field technician apprentice scheme and our finance and accounts assistant apprentice schemes are the 3 that we've got open. For more information about those schemes or any other schemes, you can always head over to our website, which you can see there on the screen, or you can always just Google search for Virgin Media apprenticeships and you'll be able to easily find our page. Something that's good to kind of highlight, if one of those schemes aren't the one you're looking for, we've got a great thing on our website called Register Your Interest. So you can actually register for a scheme that you're interested in. And then as soon as it becomes available, you'll get an email from us to let you know, hey, this scheme is open. Do make sure that you fill out the application form so you don't miss the opportunity to apply. So I do recommend that if you are potentially interested, to head over to our website and kind of have a look at those, register your interest if there's one that you might be interested in, just to make sure you don't miss out on the chance. So with that, I think we can move on to the next slide, if that's okay. And I think, yep, it's on to Sophie. So I'll hand it over to you, Sophie, if that's okay.
Hi everyone, so I'm going to walk you through a couple of the situational judgment test questions. Do you want me to read it out? Or
Yes,
should
please.
I
Read it out, and I'm going to help you with this because we have got a poll. So once you read out the question,
Okay.
those of you that are attending, I'm going to launch a poll and you're going to get interactive and you're going to answer on that poll. So let us know what you think. Go for it, Sophie.
So, down the hall in another office, Adam is working on a project to check the speed and stability of the broadband in a nearby town. Some of the paperwork he's using is quite hard to interpret. As well as being over 20 years old, it was filled out by hand and uses phrases and jargon he has not heard before. Adam has a buddy, an experienced colleague who supports him and mentors him, but they're out of the office on a site survey, so not immediately available. However, they'll be back in the office in a few hours. Adam cannot continue with the rest of the project until he understands the paperwork. If you were Adam, what would you do in this situation? A, call your buddy whilst they are on site to quickly ask them what the phrases and acronyms mean. B, find a more experienced colleague in the office who may be more aware of what the phrases and acronyms mean. C, look over your training notes and use the internet to find out what the phrases and acronyms mean. Or D, wait until your buddy is back in the office and then ask them to look over the documents with you. Cool.
So all of you attending should be able to see that poll is up there now. Get your answers in. What do we think? Is it A, B, C, or D?
Got some answers coming in.
Certainly have. I can tell you, I had a go at this earlier today when I was doing my prep for the slides. Not always as easy as you think, right?
Yeah, I mean, when me and Antiana first looked at them, you know.
We had to deliberate a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly got people thinking. We've got 13 and 19. Almost everybody has answered. Almost everybody has answered. A few more seconds. Don't think about it too long. Right, so let's have a look at what answers we got, shall we? Let me share the results of this poll. So, Sophie, 47% went for B.
Yeah, if you could go to the next slide, then it shows
Certainly.
which one's right. But yes, B is right.
There you go.
So I'm just going to talk about why I think D would not be correct in this situation. So first of all, the word buddy is not really that much of a specific term, if that makes sense. And also, at the point where they're back in the office, you're already going to be late with the work that you were supposed to do, because it says that they can't finish until he understands the paperwork. So obviously it's a bit urgent. Sorry. And yeah, B would probably be better because you need someone there immediately to help you, who is going to be able to give you the correct information. So yeah.
Perfect. Next one.
Oh, yeah, next slide, please.
Yeah, that's technical error on my side.
Okay.
There you go. User error.
Yeah, so downstairs in one of our training rooms, Ellie is on a course learning about how to analyse and present geographical data. Ellie has some experience with this type of system and finds it all quite straightforward. However, during the break, one of her colleagues tells her that they're really struggling to understand the system and worry that this could mean they will not make a good business planner. In Ellie's situation, what would you do? A, tell your colleague that before the session continues, they need to let the course leader know they're struggling. B, approach the course leader after the break and tell them that your colleague told you they're struggling. C, partner up with your colleague after the break and assist them with their understanding of the system. Or D, give your colleague some of your own course notes to study that could help them understand the system better.
All right, let's go for it again. Poll has been launched. Let's get those answers in.
Answers seem to be coming in quite quick, so it looks like maybe after the first one you started to get the hang of it, which is always good.
Yeah.
And these are actual examples that exist in your process.
Yeah, so these won't be, you won't find, if you do the situational judgment test, you won't necessarily find these exact ones word for word, but there'll be this exact sort of format of question. So it's this sort of style of question, and kind of the theme of these questions will be quite similar in some of the questions you'll ask. So it's if you kind of get the understanding of kind of the answers that we're looking for from these questions, it'll be really helpful if you do take part in one of these situational judgment tests.
Perfect. Well, we've got the answers in. I'm going to share the results, and they're kind of a bit interesting. So you can see 47% went for A, 13% went for B, 27% went for C, and 13% went for D. So the most popular answer was A, second most popular was C. Let's have a look at what it should be. So let's have a look at the next slide.
So the correct answer is C. And yeah, once again, I'm just going to talk you through why I think one is best and one is worst. So to approach the course leader after the break and tell them that your colleague told you they were struggling, well, I think that this isn't really that beneficial for either person, because the course leader, first of all, will most likely be busy doing other things, and it's not really helping you either to just sort of be a little bit sort of patronizing in a way and just say, I'm not going to help you, go somewhere else. And I think C is probably the best answer, because not only are you going to be helping someone else, but you're also consolidating your own knowledge in the topic, and you'll be helping someone else as well. So yeah.
Perfect, fantastic, makes sense.
Cool, so I'm going to pass over to Antiana.
Thanks, Soph. That was really insightful, though I've already seen the slides, so you know. But I hope you guys kind of understand now the kind of things we look for, especially with that last one where it says help your colleague. We're also massively about teamwork and Virgin Media and helping each other, and having a growth mindset together. So when you're doing things like the situational judgment test, just have in mind, like, be yourself. Don't try to put down what you think they want you to put down, because that's when you're going to get it wrong. But I hope that gave you some kind of idea of what to expect if you do apply for a job at Virgin Media. So what I'm going to talk about is like hints and tips if you do choose to go with us, and what to expect from maybe an interview process. And this will be relevant to, I mean, any apprenticeship you decide to do. Number one, do your research on the company and the apprenticeship you want to do. So make sure that you clued up and you know what's what. I know before Virgin Media, I just like looked at YouTube videos just to see what was going on, what was current within the companies, and find what interests you about the company, because then you can like exert your passion about it a lot more and it comes across more naturally. But then also check the apprenticeship, because you don't want to sign up for, say, I don't know, say in project management one like myself, if you're more interested in finance, because you're just going to be going down this kind of snowball effect and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So make sure you choose the right one for you. But then, like Hallie said, you can always choose another apprenticeship further down the line if you choose to. Beforehand, most companies will send out a test session. Virgin Media did. So it's always good to get on beforehand, if you've got these days, I forgot what they're called. Callie, help me out here.
Well, we call them discovery centres, but I think most companies probably call them assessment centres. So yeah, be a little bit different there.
Yeah, there we go. So like assessment/discovery centre at Virgin Media. They'll roll out a test session. It's good to join, because obviously you don't want to get to the day and suddenly you're having technical issues and what have you. So just remember, get yourself on, try it out, sign on early. Like today, Callie, Sophie and Charlotte, we all signed on about 10 minutes earlier, because at the beginning we all did struggle to get on because we're not used to get on these platforms. So just remember, sign on early, look professional, look vigilant, persevere. Set up your workstation. I would show you around my room, but I don't think I should at the same time. It's not entirely clean, but I've got my little workstation set up here. I've got water, I've got a coffee, I've got a notebook ready, and it just makes you feel more enthused and ready to go with it and just ready to get with the day. And then just always ask questions, no matter what. There's no such thing as a silly question. I'm sure you've heard that a million times over, but just keep asking that, and it makes you stand out as well the more you say. So yeah, but thank you. Max, if you could go to the next slide, please, and I'll pass on to Charlotte.
Can I also just say that a lot of the information well, actually all of the information you passed along there is really, really valuable. So for those of you that are attending and looking into these things, listen to what was said, because there was some really valuable advice, especially about testing your equipment before you have to do any of these things, but also just thinking about how to prepare yourself, to do your research, look at the company culture, look at the opportunities available, get everything ready beforehand so that when you arrive on the day, you're not flapping about. Like Antiana said, yeah, we all logged onto this call early to make sure everything worked fine and that we could do it. Having yourself set up. doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to pass the test, but you are going to feel more calm and less nervous and less stressed, which is going to enable you to be yourself. Remember, Antiana said that at the beginning as well. When you look at these questions, or when you attend what is called an assessment center, it's about you being you. Don't answer the question by thinking you need to give the answer that you think they are looking for, because that's wrong. They're looking for you, not what you think they're looking for. So that's really valuable. Be yourself. Okay, thank you, Antiana.
Thank you, Max.
You're welcome.
Hi. Oh dear, sorry. So so this slide's all about the rewards that you can get with Virgin Media. It's not just the permanent role that Callie's already mentioned. All our apprenticeships do obviously start at a minimum salary of £17,000, which is really good for any apprenticeship, and we are very proud of being able to offer that much. And there is way to progress with the salary halfway through the apprentice, like it says on the slide. But it's not just about the money and everything. Everybody's really supportive, and there is lots of discounts and things that you can get. Like I know I get a cheaper phone contract now since I've started, and there is a friends and family discount that you can get. So you can share your job with everybody else, which is really nice. You also get 25 days holiday a year plus bank holidays and your birthday off, which is really nice. So you don't have to think about working on your birthday. I know I'd hate it if I had to work on my birthday. It's not something that I'd want to do. And then on top of that, there is a really good healthcare plan with Bupa that you can enter. And that shows how supportive Virgin Media can be, and that it does care about your well-being. It's not just about you working, it's about you as a person as well, which I think is really good for the company. If we want to go to the next slide, please, Max, and it'll tell us about life at Virgin Media. Antiana, if you want to start us off with how you felt on your apprenticeship so far.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself even. So this side, basically, we're just going to talk about each of our separate experiences. Me personally, I've never felt more like I've come into a team. Like, everybody kind of brings you in. I know some of you guys might be thinking, I don't know when you graduate and whatever, but like, what's it like to start a job during COVID? And obviously that's very prevalent right now, and we're all working from home. As you can see everybody's living rooms or bedrooms or what have you. It's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. The Virgin Media have massively supported us. Within my team, we're constantly doing team meetings, we're setting up calls, doing quizzes with each other just to keep each other motivated, and everybody within the company is very understanding that people can struggle from working from home. And we're constantly checking in on each other. The apprentices, we're kind of now forming a little community between us. So we're having regular calls every week. So I have the pleasure of talking to like Sophie and Charlotte, or more than that, but I have the pleasure of talking to them more than necessary. But yeah, having a really good time. And like I said, we do social things. We do quizzes all the time. If we can, whenever COVID allows it, we're going to do little meetups and what have you, obviously within restrictions, but that's probably down the line. But I've had so much opportunity to do stuff already. And like I said, I've only been here since September. I've already volunteered for a number of things. Like, say, for today, I've come to take time out to come do this. And there's more chance to do a lot more than just your day job. But I won't lie, I love the day job as well. So it's not a massive issue that I have to do that from 9 till 5. So yeah, if I could recommend anything enough, Virgin Media is probably one of the best companies I've ever worked for. And I've worked for a few, I won't lie. But yeah, if I pass on to Sophie to share her experience.
Yeah, so carrying on from what Antiana said, so me and Antiana do the same apprenticeship, but we're in different departments. So I'm in network expansion. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how it's been during COVID and like support and stuff. So yeah, literally the same. I mean, I've never felt like more supported, honestly, in a team. Like, I really didn't expect it to be as good as it has been. Literally, I'm getting emails and messages all the time after team calls or meetings, asking if I need any help, if I properly understood anything. I've had one-to-one calls with a lot of people from like the wider team that I work in as well, which is nice to get a more broad understanding of the company as a whole. And yeah, we have weekly team calls and monthly fun sessions, which it was actually my job to do this month. So I've made a 50-slide pub quiz for that on Friday. Yeah. And as she said, there's a lot of chance to like expand your learning. For example, it doesn't sound exciting, but I'm doing a lot of courses in Excel at the moment because I feel like, well, in my role, Excel was a really big part of it. So I felt like I needed to do a little bit more work in that area. So yeah, I'll just pass on to Charlotte if you have anything to add.
Well, I work in a completely separate area and part of the country to Auntie Anna and Sophie. And I must admit it is very similar in the sense that they are still trying to make the most out of working from home. We still do have all of our weekly catch-up sessions with our teams, and we do have the weekly quizzes, and we've got separate apprentice calls. Like I've just organised a children in need like competition thing, so we've raised money for that and things. And it is really nice, and I do feel very part of the group. And you get given a line manager as well, who obviously like helps you. So she's been introducing me to lots of different people that I might need to know, just who I'd have bumped into if I was in the office. So it's nice just to get to know them anyway. But I do agree with what Auntie Anna and Sophie have said, that people can't be more helpful for you, and everybody has been going above and beyond to try and help everybody to fit in, which has been really nice. So
I just thought I'd add as well, even though obviously you have your line manager and everything, even like there's more senior members of staff have directly sort of helped me and spoken to me and asked if I ever needed any help or anything like that, that they would 100% back me. And yeah, weekly one-to-ones with my line manager as well. I don't know how it is with you guys, but I have actually pretty much daily one-to-ones with my line manager, because why not?
exactly, and I think that's really important as well, especially with working from home. You do kind of miss the ability to just go and like tap someone on the shoulder and say, please will you help me with this, but they're only a phone call away, and you can just message them and ask if you can like ring them to ask them a question or something, which I've been doing quite a lot. And it does really help with everything. If we pass it back on to Callie and go on to the next slide, please, Max.
I certainly can, and I mean, there's a lot of great stuff to hear there. For those of you that are attending, I mean, you've just heard from three people who have joined Virgin Media, tell you everything about that you want to know. We have got questions here that we're going to go through in a second, but to hear the three of you speak and the way that you basically took over my job, I really didn't need to do much, and to hear that is great. And what makes it even better is the fact that one of you is in a different office and there's still a great relationship between you, and I think that's testament to all of the things that you've spoken about before. I can also say, I mean, Auntie Anna mentioned about starting a job in COVID. I started my job with Pathway CTM during this period, during this summer, and I can agree to the fact that it's about the team members that you have around you and how they help you and help you settle in that really make a big difference. And I've had the same. I've had a really great introduction. I've settled in really well because of those people that are around me. You can't do it in the physical sense, like Charlotte said. You can't tap each other on the shoulder and give each other a bit of support, but you can online, and everybody is making the effort, and that's really important. And that's a cultural thing that exists within a company. And for a company to continue that culture, they want to make sure that the people that are coming on board that have that, or can learn that, or display that already, or have that within them. That's why the recruitment process is set the way it is, so that that culture can start to come out, and that they can see who you are. And it's not just about your grades, it's about you as a person. It goes back to that point. When you are going through this process, it's about you being you and showing what you are capable of and what kind of a person you are too. That's the important part. So, Callie, I think your job's been done for you, really. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's been great to have Antiana, Sophie, and Charlotte each kind of share their experiences so far, and it's really great for myself to kind of hear that, as I know I was involved in the recruitment process for I believe most of you. So it's great to be on this call and have you guys join me and say those things. So we just really want to open it up now. If there kind of are any questions, we'd love to answer some questions if there's further questions or anything that anyone's wanting to know. We're here to help.
Oh, and do we have questions? I mean, I think because of the way the session has gone, we've definitely got questions. First one, do you accept BTEC qualifications?
Yeah, so each of our apprenticeships will have a kind of a list of what the requirements are, so kind of the previous qualification requirements. But BTEC would be one that would be considered as long as it kind of the qualification sits within that apprenticeship. So I'd recommend just checking each apprenticeship. So they'll each kind of say what the minimum requirement is. So it might say something more like GCSEs or equivalent. So you'll be able to kind of have a look at each one and just kind of see that. But it is definitely one that we accept as well.
And I suppose to bring it home, it's because there is a variety of different roles that that apprenticeships are available in. The requirements are going to be different role to role, because of exactly what you're going to need to study and do in those jobs. So it is about doing your research as well, people. Remember, it was mentioned at the beginning, do your research about the company you are applying for and have a look at what those opportunities are, what you need to take advantage of those opportunities and how you can get there. They are there. There's a lot of different roles. There's a lot of different qualifications needed for each role. Here we are. Now, we're talking about Thames Valley, Berkshire. So we're hoping that the people that are on are in the Thames Valley, Berkshire area. However, the other question that comes along is, where are you based in the UK? Now, we know that you've definitely got an office in Bradford because Charlotte works there. Yep. But where else are you based in the UK?
Yeah, so we've got quite a few different offices, so it really does depend on the role. So kind of some of our bigger offices, obviously Charlotte we've got in Bradford, myself, Antiana and Sophie are all based in our head office, which is in Reading. We've also got offices in Peterborough, in Manchester and Birmingham, among a few other places. There's smaller offices which are more which are called little red sheds. So those are offices that are normally for kind of like field-based roles, but we've got a lot of those kind of dotted around everywhere that you can really imagine. So we've got them from places like we've got them in Nottingham, we've got them in Cambridge, we've got them in Plymouth. So those ones are kind of everywhere that you can imagine. We've kind of got one of those little red sheds.
Okay. Somebody has asked that their graduation year is 2021. When would be a good time for them to apply?
Yeah, so it would be, so majority of our apprenticeships, the ones that we've got currently advertised will be starting kind of at the start of next year. So likely those ones aren't ones for you to apply for. However, our ones that will be going live next year, majority of those will look to be starting in September 2021. So it would be for those ones that will keep coming live next year that you definitely would want to apply for if you're graduating next year, because you'd then be able to start shortly after you've graduated.
Perfect. We've got a few questions. Oh, what is a STEM qualification?
Yeah, so a STEM qualification, so it's going to be something that is a qualification that's in science, technology, engineering, or maths. So it's just going to be a specific qualification kind of in those subject range. So a few of our schemes, I think, do ask for a qualification in STEM, and that is just tends to be those roles that are really specific and kind of want you to come from that background.
Perfect. We have got some other questions here, which I think, again, relates back to the point that we made earlier about doing your research on the website. And remember that Callie did say in the beginning that that apprenticeships and roles will change. Not everything is always available every year, if I understood that right. And some different ones are available year on year. So we've got questions in terms of, do you do a degree apprenticeships in software development? Is that what, again, one to research?
Yeah, so that is one that we have previously done as a degree level apprenticeship. I believe the one that we've currently got advertised on our website, which isn't actually open for applications, but is open for registering your interest. I believe it's a level 4 qualification, but we have previously brought on apprentices for software developers at degree level. So we've got, I believe, that one, and then there's we do have a few others that do come in at degree level. So it is definitely one that we've offered in the past. Just it's not one at the moment, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on the website for.
And also, somebody has asked, is the job based office work or outdoors?
So that's very dependent on the job. So our apprentices we've got on the call today, so they're all based in the office, like myself in my role, but we do have our other roles that are based in the field. So our field technicians and our network engineers, they'll be the ones that you might see driving around in one of the Virgin Media vans. So they'll be coming around to your house or to businesses to set up broadband, set up your television, set up your phones, and kind of fix any network issues in the area, along with a few other schemes we've got that would be spending time in the field. So you've got things like our network planners might spend a bit of time in the field. We've got health and safety engineers. We've got civil engineers. So it is really dependent on the role.
Can I just add to that? Sorry.
Yeah. I think we're probably going to
It's only because, probably the
Because-
same thing, only because we're project management apprentices. We are mainly based in the office, yes. However, I've already been to a few technical sites anyway.
Yeah.
So you do still have the option within office-based ones, depending on what they are, of course. But in project management, Sophie, you're the same. We do
Yeah.
have the chance to go out to technical sites as well. So if you did want to do a bit of traveling, it is there.
And it also, I mean, I'd never done anything in this sort of sector before, and obviously to see the stuff that I'm entering into spreadsheets and stuff in real life is really helpful. So even if it's not necessarily directly involved with your role, you will still probably, if it's necessary, get the opportunity to go out and see everything for yourself.
Perfect. So there is that. Again, it's about the role itself, and it's about doing that research to see if it's an outdoors role, then you are going to be based outdoors. But like you've just heard from two of the apprentices, they get the chance to go out and see in action what the stuff that they're working on indoors in the office is actually bringing to fruition. So Callie, I've got probably about 4 questions that are along a similar line here, and I think it is something that we need to cover so that people understand how the progress works and what the program looks like. So I'm just gonna read out the 4 questions, and then you can formulate an answer around that, hopefully, not putting you on the spot too much. Yeah. But you have got 3 apprentices with you who are more than capable of helping you. So the questions are, what skills and qualifications will you gain? Will you support apprentices to gain further education? So if I'm doing a level 3, would I go straight to level 4? And if I attend a level 4 apprenticeship, can I go up to a level 7? Right, that's a lot of questions, but
yeah,
they do.
no, that's all right. They all kind of tie in together a bit. So I can touch on a few of those points. So I mean, with kind of supporting like further education. So as I mentioned before, there is always that opportunity for progressing on to another apprenticeship after you've completed the one that you're on. So like I said, we often have people that do a say level 2 apprenticeship and then move on to level 3 or level 4 qualification. And we have seen that quite often. We do have one person on program that's actually completing his 3rd apprenticeship with us. So he's absolutely a massive advocate for the apprenticeship, and kind of wanted to continue to progress and get higher qualification. So there is absolutely that option to kind of go there. You can't necessarily go from a level 2 to a level 6 or a level 7, and that's just because you wouldn't have kind of the minimum criteria to be able to move on to that. So you do kind of have to go in the right order and make sure that you do have the qualification needed to kind of progress on to that next one, if it makes sense. And kind of which qualification you're going to gain. As I said before, that does depend on which apprenticeship that you're doing. So each apprenticeship will have its own qualification depending on the level. So you can always have a look at each of those on our website, or you can look at the National Apprenticeship website. If you want to just generally look at the apprenticeships available, you can always look there at the apprenticeships, and then kind of once you've picked an apprenticeship, you can then kind of go in to be looking at the providers and things that kind of give those apprenticeships. Kind of, I guess, skills that you'd get. I don't know if Antiana, Sophie, Charlotte, if you guys would kind of want to touch on some of the skills that you've been, not to throw you guys now on the spot, but if you want to touch on some of the skills and things that you've been learning, or I think that you're expecting to learn as well.
Well, I mean, as I already mentioned, Excel is a big part of my role. And I mean, when do I start? September. So 3 months ago, I literally would have never even been able to do half of the stuff that I'm doing at the moment. And obviously they have offered like free courses and stuff that I do pretty regularly, that I do in my own time, just to aid with that. And also sort of like public speaking, stuff like this. 3 months ago, I probably would have never, ever even put myself forward for something like this. But just being in this role in general, obviously project management, you're sort of getting things from A to B, and, you know, being in charge of, not in charge, but you're bringing a lot of people together from across like a wide range of teams. So yeah, I've definitely boosted my confidence, and I think I've matured quite a bit in this role as well. So I don't know if anyone else wants to add.
I guess just on top of that kind of skills, it depends what kind of skills you mean. I've learned all things like organization, punctuality, because I was always notorious for being late to things, and now I'm always on time. I start at 7 in the morning, I sign on at 6:59. It's amazing, and Virgin Media has done that, not me. Organization, I wasn't the most organized. If I showed you around my room, you would notice. However, my workstation itself, brilliant. So you do learn like the soft skills like that. In terms of like individually for each apprenticeship, it's going to vary, as you can imagine. But within project management, the ones that I've just mentioned are the ones that I needed to gain. And because you get so much support, you pick it up quickly. Like, we've only been in the role for 2 months, coming up to 3.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, I feel so confident in like how well I'm going to do in the future. And
And
like,
also,
there's not a shadow of doubt in my mind. Yes, Sophie.
sorry.
No, it's all right, love.
Yeah, and also I don't know about you, Antiana or Charlotte, but I mean, it's nice that I've already been here 2 months and there's already certain things within our processes that I am myself responsible for and that I feel completely confident doing. And it's nice to feel like really a part of
Yeah,
the whole thing.
you do grow quickly within this company. I found anyway that I've grown really quickly, a lot further than when I was 2 months ago with Sophie and the public speaking. You do just push yourself a lot more. But yeah.
So, interestingly, with what you guys are saying about the things, I mean, it's great the stuff that you're learning, and Sophie, I hope you do more of these things, because you are great at it, and it's really good to have you guys here. And the power of having the apprentices here themselves is, somebody has asked if the apprenticeships are based on practical and then theory, or is it more practical, less theory? How does it work? How does your apprenticeship work? I mean, I know I can give the usual. It's an 80-20 split. It's 80% doing the job, 20% learning. But from your perspective, how is it?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think Antiana, you're the same. So the actual apprenticeship learning, I have 1 day booked out of my week, which is Friday, where I do all of my apprenticeship work, which is, I guess you'd say, the theory. So you read a lot of stuff and then you have to fill out worksheets and submit it. But you also have to do a portfolio as you're going, where you put in all of the projects you've worked on. And then actually, I don't know if I talk about the very end, but you have to give a presentation to some panelists about what you've learned over your 18 months, or for me, it's 18 months. And then the rest of the time is very practical. I'm always on calls. I'm always doing something, or if I'm not doing something, I'll always ask. And I'm constantly learning, literally every week, something new. So.
And it's that process of learning as you do the work, and what you learn you then put into practice. So it's like a continual graduation, right? And somebody has asked, is it exam based? I mean, at the end of your apprenticeship, is there an exam you need to do, or is there a project you need to write, or a piece of work you need to hand in?
I think there's a 3-hour exam at the end of hours, at least.
It varied for all of them.
People, yeah.
It varies for all of them, but for project managers specific to us, we do have a 3-hour exam. However, they do throughout the entire time give you exam questions and stuff. Like, we've already seen them, and we only started 2 months ago. So, and I mean, it's like a 99.9% pass rate. So if you are worried about exams, I mean, don't be.
if you've gone through A level and GCSEs, trust me, like you'll be all right, because it's very different. I think, being in school and doing this, I think it's just different, as opposed to just learning. It's learning and then doing, and then putting it into practice and developing yourself as a person. So
can I just add on? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go for it, Charlotte, go.
Can I just add on that for my apprenticeship, I'm doing the level 3 accounting apprenticeship. So I'm studying towards the AAT. So there is an exam every 3 months. They try and get us to do one. So I think there's 4 different exams across our apprenticeship, like the 18 months. So if you don't like exams, maybe it might overface you, but everybody is very supportive, and there's plenty of practice exams that you can sit. And there is a mentor that you can go to ask for help and everything.
That's really, really relevant points
So
there that Charlotte
it
has
is
made.
very exam based, my qualification.
And it's about that. There are exams there, but you're going to get the support. I think you've heard all three of the apprentices talk about how much support they get. And why do you think they get that support? Because Virgin Media does not want their apprentices to fail. They want their people to succeed, because they're investing a lot of money and a lot of time into nurturing talent and bringing them through. So of course the support will be there. So I think one of the things that we would say is, if you are thinking about moving, or you're not thinking, you are going to have to move into the world of work, whether it be with apprenticeships or after university or after A-levels, you will be given support, and organizations like Virgin Media will give you the support that you need to be successful. There is a lot that you need to bring to it. Antiana mentioned it about maybe not being the best at being on time at work. I was the same as you, Antiana. I was rubbish at being on time at work. But then when I got a job, I was a kitchen manager, and I used to have to start at 3:45 in the morning. Trust me, you learn to get to work on time when it's 3:45 in the morning. So, but those are the things that you need to bring. You need to bring the determination to be successful on it, and people will support you. If you don't bring anything to it and they just support you, you will not go as far. But the help is there. So then I want to ask two other questions that we've got. Callie, first of all, applying. You mentioned it earlier. There was a link on there, and I'm just going to go back into the slides to put it up about where the apprenticeship information is. But applying it is on the Virgin Media website, or is it through a secondary website?
Yeah, so it's you would originally go through the Virgin Media website, so you can see there it's the careers.virginmedia.com, and then / future careers, and then apprenticeship. So you can go onto that page to find all the information specifically about each of those roles. So you'll be able to see kind of the length of the scheme, what level the scheme is, the requirements. If we've got a start date, you'll be able to see that there, and kind of just read up a bit more. We've also got some on that page. You'll find some potentially some videos or blogs from previous apprentices. So we do have a lot of good content there. And then once you kind of find the scheme that you're interested in, once you click onto the link to apply, it will take you then to a separate page where you'll create an account with our application portal, and that's where you can apply or register your interest for the schemes that you want to.
Perfect. We've got about 5 minutes to go before the end of the session. And whilst we've got apprentices here, and Callie as well, it's worth asking the question somebody's asked: what can we expect to find at the Discovery Centre? What can we expect to find at the Discovery Centre?
So with our Discovery Centres, I'll just kind of go over like what we like cover at them, but then if the guys want to kind of say anything else about what kind of how they found it, anything, that'd be good as well. But just the days broken up into a few different parts. So you kind of start the day with a welcome session. So you get a presentation where you'd hear a bit about the company, about the scheme, and hear from some people from the business that you'd be joining. You'd have an opportunity to kind of ask some questions in that welcome session, and then you'd be broken up into separate groups. So you'd take part in a group exercise. You'd have some sort of individual task. So kind of for each scheme that is going to vary on what that individual task is, and then you'll have an interview. So it's a few different parts that you're broken down into. So it is quite a long day. So there is a lot of content that we go through, but we do kind of offer support ahead of that. So like I said, we do those coaching calls where we kind of talk you through a bit of what to expect. So you're not kind of thrown into the deep end before you join the day.
Perfect. So there's quite a lot there. Okay, that's brilliant. So let's have a look what else we've got in terms of questions. That's do you need work experience to get into the apprenticeship? Or more specifically, the question asks, do we need a work experience to get into the apprenticeship? So I'm thinking, obviously, somebody who's maybe coming out of school, GCSE or A-level stage, may not have a lot of work experience behind them, if any. Is that important? Is that going to make a difference?
No, so the work experience, it doesn't matter if you do or if you don't have work experience. That's not something that we're going to be looking at. So as long as you meet kind of that minimum education requirement, that is kind of the part that we're looking at as far as actually having work experience. It's not about that. So a lot of our questions you'll see are kind of maybe more focused around kind of situations. So kind of like we went through that situational judgment test, they'll be more focused around things like that. So it's not kind of putting you in a position where you have to have experience to kind of relate on. It's more about being able to see your potential and how you could perform in the role.
Perfect. And you said about more about the educational side of things. Somebody has asked, what GCSE grades do you need to have to get accepted? Is there a minimum requirement, or again, is it dependent on role?
So I believe most of our roles are asking for grades C or above for our GCSEs. So again, that will be listed on the website, but they should, most of them are probably asking for at least C or above.
Okay, perfect. There are a few other questions that we may not have, well, we have covered them. They are a bit specific, but we have covered them already. So there's a couple of questions that are repetitions, but the overriding thing to remember is that you've got the web address there for Virgin Media's page about their careers, and where you can go and find out about apprenticeships, what apprenticeships are available, what they look like, what you need to get into them. And so you can see what is necessary. Last question, two things. In the chat box, I've put a link to a survey that I want anybody who's attended to fill that out for me, please. And that will help us to help you in the future with any career choices that you need to make, whatever it might be, but so that we can help you out. Fill out that form and let us know how today's session went as well. Last question, do you need 5 GCSEs or is it just maths and English, Callie? Because you said it's C or above, but is it 5 or just maths and English?
So that again, I know I've said this for quite a few of them, but it is a bit dependent on the role. So there are just quite a few where it is just maths and English. So like for instance, our level 4 data analyst apprenticeship, that one is going to just be maths and English, but we do have a few kind of other apprenticeships that would require more than that. But for the most part, I would say that it's maths and English.
Perfect. Okay. Right. It is 3 minutes to 7. And I think that has been a fantastic session. So I've learned such a lot about Virgin Media, but I want to say thank you to Callie for coming along and presenting to the guys that are in Thames Valley, Berkshire, about the opportunities available to them. But more importantly, I want to say thank you very much to the 3 apprentices that we had, to Antiana, to Charlotte, and to Sophie. Thank you for coming along and sharing your experience. And I'm sure that those that have attended have found it really valuable, because there's nothing better. I mean, you can listen to me speak all night, but I am not doing the apprenticeship. So listening to you guys speak about it and sharing your experiences has been really valuable and really, really helpful for myself and for those attending. So that's been great. Carry on doing what you guys are doing, because you're smashing it. You've learned a lot. You're doing so many good things, and coming on here to present takes a lot, and you've done really well. And I think you've done Callie proud. I would say that, and I hope she agrees with it. I'm sure she does. But thank you very much to Virgin Media. Thank you for coming to present. Thank you for showing your opportunities. And thank you to all of the students that turned up tonight to take power and to take control of their future, but also for interacting with us, for asking questions and being part of the session. And for anybody that is watching this recording later on, thank you very much for watching the recording, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed making it. So thank you very much to everybody.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.